Good afternoon. It is November 11th on a Wednesday. Wednesday, November 11th. About 2:30. I got home roughly half an hour ago, closer to 25 minutes ago, and decided to sit down and look at my phone and look at all the comments from the last posting. And boy, do I have a doozy of comments to address. One of them, which was pretty long, and about 28 of you agreed with her, which is fine. I read it and I was like, I'm not going to address it on my blog. I address it directly to her. But I have a bunch of them here that I want to address. One of them, or the first one I'm going to address, is from Tammy. She was asking about tapping, when I tap the bottom of my foot where the pain is, does it increase or decrease? It spikes. Basically, when I poke at it, it's like ow, but when I leave it alone, it's just like I'm there. It only affects me while I'm putting pressure on it. If I'm sitting back, relaxing, or have my feet up, I don't notice it until I go to step on it. So that's basically my foot, and I'm just going to skip over a couple of these real quick to answer one other person who asked about it. And that was Dolores. Dolores, I agree. I agree, and the doctor agrees. It's not gout. It's something totally different. It's basically it's either a bone problem or a form of a type of plantar's wart. Because when I step on it, it hurts. When I'm not stepping on it, it doesn't bug me. Somebody did say what it was, and I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Dolores. Excuse the page getting in the camera, but yeah, it's not a gout. It's not a gout because it's not in the joint. And Dolores, you're right. If it was full blown gout, I would probably be falling on the floor crying because of the pain. Not because I don't have a tolerance for the pain, but I have to be on my feet most of my waking hours, whether it's my job or here. And granted, my wife doesn't ask me to be on my feet all the time. It's just, I have, and I've said it before, I have ADD and attention deficit order with a crossover of hyperactivity. In other words, if I sit too long without doing anything, I start either falling asleep or getting very, very fidgety in my chair. Basically, if my mind and my body is not engaged in something, I get drowsy. I get sleepy. Okay, moving on to the next one. Marianne asked me if I drove home from Colombia the last time we went. Yes, I drove home. I had no problems. I'm getting better at the drive home. Now, I have not driven to Colombia. I've only driven home. The next step is when I get comfortable enough, maybe driving up there with enough time that I don't feel like we're in a time crunch. And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm comfortable driving home, because I don't feel like I have to rush. Pam, doctors. I am seeing a doctor. I do have a doctor appointment. Unfortunately, because of my town and COVID and Mercy Medical, who I'm going to, you're on a wait list. You have an established or an appointment. Like I established an appointment for my foot, but that's going to be 2 weeks. That's not going to be until like right before or right after Thanksgiving. I have to look at my calendar, which I don't have it written down in here. It's on my phone. And yes, I am proud of the man I'm becoming. I am proud of what I know. I'm not so prideful that I'm blinded by my own pride, because the old saying, fall goes before pride, or pride goes before the fall, or something like that. I can't remember the exact saying, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. If it seems like I'm rushing through some of these comments, yes and no. But yeah, Pam, I am happy and proud of who I am and what I'm becoming. I'm mentally healthier. I'm physically getting healthier. Spiritually, I'm still kind of like on the rocks, because It has nothing to do with what I'm learning or what I'm becoming. It has to do with the fact that my spirituality has always been one of those things where it's not that I question it, because the fact that a lot of times I'm like, yes, I'm strong in that. It's the factor of what other people say to me, or what other people try to get me, convince me to be or think when it comes to religious aspects. But otherwise, my how do you put it? My indulgence in learning about Norse paganism or shamanism or Druidism or any other different religions, whether it's a Christian based religion or not, I've learned one thing at a young age. In order to be learned on subjects, you have to be willing to open yourself up to study everything out there. I feel I'm learned on a lot of different religious subjects because of the fact that I've opened myself up enough to study it, to understand it, to realize what the individuals who do practice the different religions are all about. And I think that in some ways is following the footsteps of Jesus, because Jesus wasn't ignorant to what was going on around him, the other religions, the other cultures, the other people. Um, and I personally think in order to better understand other people, you have to be willing to walk in their shoes. And that's exactly what Jesus did throughout his whole entire life. He walked in other people's shoes. Um, Going on to the next question, because I don't want to dive off the deep end with religion right now. Um, I'm hoping I'm spelling these names, or not spelling, pronouncing these names properly. Karen or Karen and Goldie, they were both concerned about my heart. My heart's fine. I just had, in fact, my blood pressure is going back down to my normal, what's normal for who I am, or what my biological system is. Doctors aren't too overly concerned about my heart, because the fact that I haven't had arrhythmia, I haven't had any signs of a heart attack other than high blood pressure. And high blood pressure is not always about the heart having issues. It's about your stress levels, your food intake, what you've been eating, how much salt or how much sugar you've been eating. Various different elements of what you're putting into your body causes issues, that and stress. Um, yes, I have been monitoring everything. I monitor my heart, my blood pressure, my heart rate. Um, One of you talked about heartburn was a symptom that your spouse, husband, somebody had that was close to you, and you've had a heart attack and a stroke or whatnot, and within an 11-year period of my age. Um, I appreciate your concerns, but right now the doctors aren't concerned, so I'm not overly concerned. I'm just doing what the doctors tell me to do, which is right now monitor. Next question. Actually, I'm going to skip these two questions because these two people have not only have they been they've like asked a lot of questions and got this whole Q&A thing spurred. So I'm going to jump over them and go to the very last one. Oh, well, not the last one, but go to Rita, who was the last person to make a comment. And Rita, you made a comment about the fact that I attempted 30 years ago ODing through suicide. One, that was 30 years ago. And two, with all the things I'm currently learning, both Christian and non-Christian, suicide is a negatory. By the Christian standards, it is basically not just Christian standards. By the Christian standards, by the Norse pagan or Viking standards, by the Native American standards, by every standard except for Shinto, which is the Japanese, old Japanese religion, suicide is a one-way ticket to hell. Hades, yeah, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but yeah, it's a gateway to hell. The Shinto religion, or the old samurais, sepulcher. which is basically their version of ritual sacrifice or suicide, would be a method of regaining family honor. Like, let's say you dishonored the shogun or the emperor, and in order to reclaim your honor and your family's honor, so they weren't outcasts, you would commit seppuku, which is ritual suicide. I will never go that way because, from what I hear, it is agonizing and painful. Because, I mean, taking a blade, shoving it into your stomach, turning it sideways, and yanking it upright to basically sever all your internal organs in one blow. Just, nah. I'd rather be headed. I'd rather have them just lop off my head. So, yeah, no. I've gained stability. I've gained. Yeah, there are. I will admit. There are times where I sit there and go, "Oh man, this, all these struggles and all the stresses and all the things that I have to go through on a regular basis, that's just grinding me down to nothingness." Sometimes I go, would it be better to just leave this world as is, or find a way to work through it and just deal with the struggles? Well, I have my support system now. I had my support system after the fact, or 30 years ago. I got people and things to look forward to, and fight the good fight for. So yeah, suicide is not every so often that little, I don't want to say the word, but basically every so often the sinister the pointy-eared little bastard that was outcast from heaven because of his disgust for the human race, every so often tries to creep in there, but it don't work no more. Not as easy as it used to. So on to the last two people, and I'm going to shout out their names before I say what they said. Sheila and Nelly, sorry. They're the ones who got this whole Q&A thing kind of on a roll because they asked questions, and I went, ooh, I like this idea. Nelly asked the question, why don't I use some of my spare time to volunteer at the zoo or the local SPA? Is it SPA? I forgot the initials. The zoo is what kept it, binged in my head. The only real local zoo that we have around here is the St. Louis Zoo, and that's a good 2-hour drive. I'm not gonna, no, I would love to. If I lived closer, I would love to, but it's a little far for me to volunteer. As for here in town, there's no real group that deals with animals or nature or anything like to volunteer for. Not even there's no volunteer services for the forestry department or anything like that around here. Even though every so often I do go on to usgov.com to see if there's any forestry service or fishery service or anything like that here in my local area to actually get a job. I tried to do that once, and I did not have the qualifications for the particular job, which was working at a local fish hatchery. And I just kind of went, ooh, fish hatchery. I know I'm not big on fish, but it's a nature job. So I looked into it. I would love to move to, I was joking the other day with my wife because I was looking at TikTok. I love looking at TikTok now because, in fact, I've gotten into so many different Norse groups through TikTok that I'm having some trouble keeping track of them all. But while watching TikTok, I came across a video that was from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and it was called Dungeon Cafe. And basically what it was a shop that sold like all the different role-playing game type stuff, especially the Dungeons and Dragons genre type stuff, role playing games, and they had sheets, tables and whatnot, so people can gather and play D&D, and they also had a coffee shop, attached to it. I just went, the best of both worlds. Coffee and Dungeons and Dragons. How can you beat that? And I was like, Jerry, we're moving here. We're not moving there, but I would love to live out in Colorado, and I'm pretty sure if I lived in or around Denver or Colorado Springs where they have zoos, I would volunteer there. Or if they had a volunteer forestry service type thing, I'd try to volunteer there. I have thought about it. I actually thought about it when I was a teenager back in Phoenix, because I knew the Phoenix Zoo, and I knew it so well that I knew not really the ins and outs of getting behind the scenes, but I knew enough to know what they were doing behind the scenes. In fact, there was one instance where the zookeeper almost got mad at me, but when the the one zookeeper almost got mad at me, but the assistant zookeeper that was with her said, "Leave him alone. He knows exactly what he's doing." They had an exhibit with a Black Panther, and the Black Panther was like going back and forth, rubbing its body against the the bars, basically. And I just reached out and I just scratched his little head, and he just sat there like, "Oh, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I'm loving this." So I automatically knew that this was not a animal that was captured, or was not a captured animal that was brought from the wilds. It was a zoo raised animal that was people friendly. The other incident was in one of the bird exhibits, and basically they had this big, gigantic enclosed or indoor building with different exhibits of the different birds, and one of the zookeepers was trying to clean out it was a burrowing owl exhibit, and the burrowing owl squeezed through the bars, or they weren't really bars, they were like little thin wires, but this little guy squeezed through there, and as it was coming out, it literally jumped into my hands as it got out of the bars. So, and the little guy didn't try to bite me or scratch me or claw at me. He just kind of sat there like, "Okay, you caught me. Now what?" So I've had my good experiences with zoo animals. Um, every time I went to the zoo though, I always tried to go to the wolf enclosure and find the wolves and whatnot. And last time I went to it, there was a plaque on there saying, "Please do not try to call the wolves." And I was just kind of like, dang it. It's one of my favorite things to do, is try to get them to howl. The next person, Sheila, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I'm having a bit of an issue with words. Sheila. Sorry, did it again. You're right. Dreams are something to strive for, and it is best to try to have dreams that you can put them within reach. I know I've in the past had these big extravagant dreams that I can never grasp or get a hold of. That in fact, I've learned that some dreams, if you have them hard and long enough, they're meant to happen. Some dreams I've had, and they go to the wayside because it's like, oh no, that's just not for you. So I'm not going to let go of some of my big dreams, like the RV or traveling to foreign countries or things like that. I'm not going to give those up, but I'm not going to get like overly mad or whatnot because they did not happen. Of course, I've had some dreams that I've woken up from the dream going, that's not achievable, but there was a message within the dream, and I got to figure out what the message was. That's one of the reasons why I don't have it no more. I have to go find it. I have to go. I had a number of Mary Summer Rain books that were dream interpretation books. They were basically books to help you interpret what your dreams were supposed to mean. I don't plan on giving up my day job. I would love to give up my day job. I would love to have a job that I can do on the go, such as YouTube. In fact, if I had more time, I'd probably be putting out at least 1 or 2 videos a day, even though Jerry kind of went, you don't want to do that because then you overload people on your videos. So no, I don't plan on giving up my day job. I'd like to get one that would be more full-time and more income. But right now, I'm loving my job. I don't want to give it up unless something better comes along that I won't have issues with, which it's kind of hard because I've had a lot of jobs. I mean, it seemed, well, this is what's happened to me. And I kind of noticed a pattern, and I don't know if it's me, the job, the company, the environment, whatever. When we moved back here to Missouri, I had Burger King, which was a really good job. But because Burger King changed their hours and just different things happened at Burger King, I didn't stay there. I got fed up with some of the daytime BS. That was on me. Well, it was kind of on me, kind of on the manager, the boss at the time. Ask me and I'll tell you the story later. Then there was Taco Bell. Or not Taco Bell. Actually, Burger King wasn't the first job. The first job I got was actually, I was supposed to be the deli manager at our local Kroger. And I was not fully trained. So the manager who was leaving, getting herself a different job, getting herself a job that she wanted, did not fully train me. So the assistant manager had to do the bulk of the work, which I did not want. And I kept on saying, show me what I need to do. Tell me what I need to do. Show me the paperwork. Give me a little bit more information and training on this store than the previous manager did. Well, I found out after the fact that a conspiracy was concocted by the new store manager, because the old store manager, when he hired me, he was like, you've got so much experience in New York, I'm going to be paying you $11 an hour, and you're going to be you're going to be the deli manager. And I went, okay, just train me. That didn't happen. So they got in a new manager, because every 3 years they're supposed to switch out store managers or something like that. So the assistant deli manager and her mother, who also worked in the same department, which I did not like the idea of, I was going to switch it up real quick, decided to make up some sort of story. And basically the store manager and these two people said, oh, you need to leave because we caught you stealing. And I went, what? First off, that would be like pissing on my fucking dinner plate. No, thank you. Second off, I'm not a thief. No way am I gonna steal from anybody, anything, anywhere. Well, they're like, oh, well, we got video now. I'm like, well, you know what? First off, since we are under a union, you need to we're gonna get a union representative. Well, they got a union representative out of St. Louis. There was no local rep. They were out of St. Louis. And they're like, yeah, according to the video, yeah, it looks like you're stealing. And I'm like, one, let me see the video. Oh, we don't have the video on hand. Two, they're like, you can come all the way up to St. Louis and dispute the case. And I'm like, no, you know what? I already know you're lying. I have no way of proving anything to you people. I'm done. See you later. The other job, the third job that I got here in Rolla that I liked, actually I had 4. The third job I got was at Taco Bell. And what happened, and I didn't fight it because I was like, you know what, if she wants to call it that, let her call it that. This young lady who basically claimed sexual harassment, she was by the dish pit, which is where we do all the dishes. I was going around the corner carrying dishes to pass her by, and as I was passing her by, she backed up, claimed that I touched her butt. No. How, when I'm doing this with a handful of dishes, am I touching anybody's butt? So I just kind of went, nope, I'm not going to fight it. The fourth job, what happened was basically they were running out of money, so they were firing people. I was the old man on the totem pole. That's what happened. But anyhow, I have a good job now. Everything is going smoothly. I am minding my P's and Q's and watching every flipping detail I'm doing. Because it seems like out here, if somebody doesn't like you, they scream bloody murder and you're gone. But I think that's just small town Rolla, or small town Missouri. Anyhow, keeping up with a diet plan. I plan on it. We are working our best. Oh, man. We forgot to take out meat for dinner. Well, I know how to defrost it quickly, or some of the meals that we've been cooking can be cooked from frozen in the Instant Pot. But yes, I plan on keeping up with the diet, the keto, Nordic, diabetic type foods, which are healthier than, sorry. The downfall of letting your mustache and beard grow is sometimes hair gets into your mouth. But yeah, Jerry Ann and I are doing our best to stay on the diet. My mom, I love her to pieces, but sometimes her childish attitudes, now maybe it's just because of the fact that she's getting old and whatnot, but when we started the whole Nordic Way diet, she was all into it and all for it and whatnot. But within a recent month or so, she's kind of like, oh, I don't like this, or no, I don't want to try that, or, things like that. It's just kind of like, what happened? Is it because of personal issues with the food, personal issues with the way things are in the house with me and Jerry? I don't know. But me and Jerry will stay with our diet, and Mom can nitpick and pick and choose whatever. We're not going to force her to eat anything. I just don't like the fact that every so often she doesn't eat enough at the table, and then she goes into her room, she's got snacks in there, or she'll come out later on and make a Spam sandwich. I can only do what I can do. The other thing Sheila had to comment about or make. I'm not putting you down, Sheila. You asked about it. Saving money. We are trying to save money, but right now, because everything is really tight, they ended the whole what they call TAFTA, which was a special part of unemployment where if you were self-employed, like basically she's a entrepreneur, YouTuber, however you want to put it, they were allowing her to fill out paperwork for temporary unemployment or low income, is I think what it wasn't really unemployment, it was more like low income. That money stopped about was it back in August or was it September? The money, basically TAFTA was no longer doing that. The unemployment people, whoever they are, that controls that, decided that now that everybody can go back to their jobs and whatnot, their regular jobs, we're not going to do it no more. So money got tight. Not so tight that we cannot afford our expenses and whatnot, but tight to the point where we had to sit down and reevaluate our budget and things like that. We are saving money. It's just once in a while because she didn't make enough money through YouTube and I didn't make enough money through my job plus YouTube. In fact, YouTube, the way YouTube is set, and maybe I can change that algorithm, I don't know, because I'm not totally familiar with YouTube. But if you don't make $100 within the 1 month of their pay period, which is basically once a month, you don't get anything. That money goes, basically whatever you made that month, if you didn't make $100, goes to the next month. And if you don't make $100 that month, it goes to the next month. So basically, if you're not making $100 or more, you're getting nothing. So between the $400, $500, maybe $600 a month that I make through my job, which is I need to bring at least $1,000 in a month. If she can bring in, if I bring in 1,000 and she brings in like 1,400, it covers all our bills and still gives us a little bit of money for savings. So she's not spending as much money at the Dollar Tree or the Dollar General or any other place like that that she normally spends her money on for crafting. In fact, she hasn't gone to the Dollar General in almost a month and a half to 2 months because of finances and because the situation here in Raleigh, the COVID, or the not even just Raleigh, the whole month. Basically, COVID is going. The whole country, the COVID situation is starting to get worse again, and the problem here is the governor has decided not to enforce any protocols for health and safety. So there are more and more people nowadays running around that we've seen here in Raleigh, running around without wearing their masks into restaurants or into stores. And I'm like, well, that's a personal prerogative, but I can understand why she's basically gotten so nervous about the whole situation that she doesn't want to go shopping. We did the other day, Monday. We did go Aldi. We did go to Aldi because we needed food supplies, and I said, "Honey, if you don't feel like coming to the store, just give me a list of what we need. I will go in there. If I have any questions, I will give you a call." Now she braved it. She went out. She did it. You know, and I'm just like, we wore our masks. We sanitized like crazy. She had sanitizing hand wipes that she wiped down the handle for the cart, and then when we got in the car, we took off our masks and used hand sanitizer in the car, and then as soon as we got home, the masks went directly into the laundry, and then we washed and sanitized our hands. I understand. I am out there on a regular basis. I still wear my mask. I use hand sanitizer when I get in the car before I come home. They have hand sanitizer at work. I carry a small little, I don't have one here, but it's a small personal sized bottle of hand sanitizer. I practically wear a mask from the moment I walk in the store to the moment I get into my car. People think I'm nuts, but you know what? I have health issues. They're not as bad as Jerry Ann. This time of year, I have my seasonal allergies, which is sinuses and bronchial issues. She has type 2 diabetes with seasonal allergies, and she's starting to develop because of postnatal drip, she's developing a cough. And then I've got my mom, who's old. She's 70 some odd. She was almost 30 when she had me. I'm 49. So, yeah, she's close to 70 years old, if not over 70 years old. Like November 15th of 47 or 49. I can't remember exact date. I have trouble remembering my own birthday and year, and Jerry's birthday and year sometimes. But all three of us have immune compromisations or compromised immune systems, whether it's allergies or diabetes or health or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know about you all, but this craziness keeps on happening. If this whatever it is doesn't start to dissipate, I'm looking for property on a small deserted island that I can have my food and shit airlifted, because I'm done. I'm tired of wearing the mask. I'm tired of people who aren't wearing masks. I'm just like, okay, you don't care about your health? What about mine? What about your child's health? Your spouse's health? Your best friend's health? You don't care about them? Fine. Okay? Yeah, you're doing this out of defiance because the fact that Joe Biden was now basically announced as president, that's fine. Do me a favor. Find yourself a secluded part of the nation and stop coming around me without a mask. You know, I don't care who you voted for. I really don't. I don't care if you voted for Trump. I don't care if you voted for Biden. I'm not worried about who's the president. I'm more worried about my health, my family's health. You know, and I'm not going to jump on a political bandwagon right now because, as far as I'm concerned, I'm done. I'm done with the insanity of this nation. I'm done with the insanity of this virus. I'm done with the insanity of people not caring about their fellow man. You know, that's where I am right now. I'm just tired of it all. Tired of the people going bonkers because Trump wasn't reelected, or going bonkers because they're afraid of what Biden may or may not do. The focus right now, the focus of not just this nation but the world, should be this virus and getting rid of the dang thing. All right, they say they have a vaccine. They say they found a way to fight it. Good. Why isn't it not being mass produced and mass distributed? Okay, if they've got a miracle cure, they need to get that crap out to the general populace. I don't care if it's a flu shot type deal or what. This virus is insane, and the way people are acting or treating it is insane. Maybe it's something straight out of the Bible that is like, okay, Revelation is happening now. But anyhow, going from a negative to a positive, that's what I want to try to do here. The positive is, especially if you are a gamer or know a gamer or know people who are gamers, I got Assassin's Creed Valhalla last night. And when I got home from work, even though yesterday was supposed to be a day off, but they called me in because somebody didn't want to work with the person who was there at the store that day or yesterday, which I understand why, but you know what? It's a job. You get paid to do it. Pull on your big boy pants, your big girl pants, whatever, and just do your job. That's exactly what I do every day. I know who I'm going to work with, and there are days where I'm just like, oh, this better be a good day, because just working with this person is going to possibly cause irritations unless it's a good day. But you know what? I still put on my uniform. I do my best to put on a smile. I go into work and do exactly what I know I'm supposed to do and whatever the person in charge asks of me. But I got Assassin's Creed last night. I got home from work about somewhere between 2:30 and 3. But I got home and the package was waiting for me on my chair on the couch, and I was happy. I opened up the package and I smiled, and my wife was in the middle of watching one of her TV shows. And granted, it's on Hulu or Netflix, and she can easily turn it off and go back to it. But I was like, hun, finish watching your show, let me change, relax a little bit, and after you're done watching your show, I'll start playing, like we agreed. Well, the original agreement was we would do some work around the house in the morning time, and then I could play. Well, because I got called in, Jerry was gracious enough to do as much as she could, which is all I ask of her. I never ask her to push beyond what she can and cannot do. I always ask, just do what you can do. Do your vlogs, do whatever you plan on doing for your channel if you can or if you want to. She's trying to get back up there, but one of the things that we need to do is we need to go in and revamp and straighten up the craft room and get the craft room ready for Christmas stuff, which was kind of one of the things we were going to do. One of the things we were going to do yesterday was get the autumn Halloween decorations up in the attic, go into the craft room and clean up as much as we can, and then spend the rest of the evening relaxing. So I started playing the game, at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I played until midnight. 6 hours. Granted, we took a break to make dinner and get things done and do a few little things that Ann needed or wanted to do for quick and easy lunches or quick and easy meals. She made stir fry and something else. I forgot what it was. But we did that. And I started playing, and I just kind of went, oh my, I don't think I'm going to be able to get up from the game. And you're just going to have to I'm just going to have to call work and say I'm dead. Things like that. And I was just kind of like, I started playing, and I'm like, wow, you look like a Viking. You sound like a Viking. You got a Viking home. You got a Viking boat. You've got, basically it. And I'm not saying it's 100% perfect to what history would consider Viking-esque type stuff. But, and I the only thing I did to switch my settings on the game itself was I turned it on, but I turned it off because after every little thing I highlighted, there was this, I could barely understand the audible voice of saying what it is. It's like, okay, fine, just turn that off, but leave subtitles on so I can at least read it, because I can read faster than they talk sometimes. So Ann was like, oh, I want to listen and watch and blah, blah, blah. And then after about an hour or so worth of playing the game, she was like, turn the sound off, put your headphones on. I can't keep up with it, because in fact, I was trying to let it play itself out. But she's in the middle of trying to do two other things, plus watch and listen game. Couldn't handle it. She couldn't keep up, which I don't blame her. Sorry, my cave flu is starting to have issues. But man alive, it was like you start out in Norway in your home village, and because of decisions made by one of the game characters, not your character, but the game character, it was decided that I would say stepbrother, because basically your parents were killed in the beginning of the game, and your best friend, who's the prince, his father adopted you to take care of you. But one of the things in the game that at first I was like, oh, this is a short-lived game, because your main character, trying to run away from the invaders that killed your parents, gets thrown from a horse and then attacked by a wolf. And the wolf, because of the attack, leaves scars on your character, and your character ends up getting the nickname Wolf Kissed, which I was just kind of like, ooh, okay, I'm liking this even more now. But I've gotten to the point in the game where my little group has left Norway and invaded or settled in an old Norse village that has been abandoned, and we're rebuilding it. But you have to, like, one of the first things you do to basically help build the village up is you go on a raid against a monastery. Monasteries back then were the weaker targets. They were the easier targets. Well, I've gotten to the point where I've gotten two important buildings built back up, besides the longhouse, which is where you and the Earl, which is basically your leader, live. But they're already talking about, targets for the targets that need to be assassinated because they're part of the bad guys. And then they're talking about going and establishing a treaty or whatever with the sons of Ragnar Lothbrok. And I'm just kind of like, oh man. They're using historical character names, which some of the Assassin's Creed games use. They're using locations. They're using equipment. And I'm just kind of like, okay, it's a game. It's not anything like the real, historical events. It's just, it's inspired by historical events and historical characters, but it's not the true way of how it was. So I'm just kind of like, but one of the things that Ann and I agreed last night was tonight I go back to my usual start playing at like 10, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and playing until midnight and come to bed. And I realized today I don't go to work tomorrow until 3 in the afternoon, so I could play until 1. But no, I don't want to. I mean, usually I'm off the game and in bed by 12:30, 1 o'clock, depending on how lost in time I get. And sometimes Jerry is sitting behind me, but she gets lost in doing her thing. So sometimes it's like, oh shoot, it's 12:30, we need to go to bed. But I'm having fun with it. I'm gonna have to put in the description of this video because I want to tag this for Assassin's Creed, but I'm gonna tell in the description, wait till the end for the game. But anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, and I'm enjoying the questions and some of the comments that I want to talk about live or through the video, so I'm enjoying a lot of comments. But yeah, any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the box. If you have not subscribed and you're new and you want to subscribe, there is a subscription button floating around somewhere on the screen. You can tap on that and you'll become a subscriber. And then there should be a bell, or there may be a bell that you can click on so YouTube can let you know when I put in a new video. One of the things I want to touch on before I actually hop off was I noticed that there were a couple people. I know that some of the information that I'm shown through the Creator app is not always correct, but I've had a couple people leave, and that's fine. Either because they've left because Spectre, I'm no longer doing what they want me to do, or they're basically unhappy with some of the things I'm talking about, which, you know what, that's fine. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm just here to talk, put out some information, talk about things I enjoy, things like that. Now I'm about 90% sure that most of you who are still here, and those of you who have actually been putting comments and questions in the comment question section, I don't want to call you loyal, because I don't feel anybody should be loyal to me. I'm not loyal to very many people except for my wife. I'm loyal to my job as long as I have it. You know, loyal to my country. I might not be a soldier. I might not be somebody of grand importance like soldiers and EMF people, police officer, or EMTs, police officers, fire department, medical people. There are literally, if you wanted to do harm to a nation, there's two ways to do it. One is the infrastructure of the nature, and two is the important people. And I'm not talking about people on Capitol Hill. Yeah, things might go into chaos if Capitol Hill got destroyed and all our political party people who were there died in the chaos of the destruction. But if the infrastructure and the police department and the military are still there, like, let's say, I don't want to put out ideas, but scenario. If somehow all our president, vice president, and all the important people were in the White House or, Capitol building, one of the important buildings up there, and it got blown up. Yet our military leaders were still safe at the Pentagon. Our military infrastructure would be pretty solid. There might be a mad dash to figure out who's gonna run the nation and figure out what the heck just happened. But Admiral Yamamoto put it correct and put it very bluntly. Don't attack American mainland, because behind every blade of grass will be a gun. Well, the Taliban, the suicide attempt on 9/11, using planes to attack important places. All that did was stuck a stick in a hornet's nest, because all you did was piss us off. Don't do that. But people leaving my channel, that's their choice. People coming to my channel, that's your choice. I don't. This is not my life. This is not something that I consider a big deal, because I still have a job. But the thing is, even if this was my only source of income, and right now it would suck, I'm not here to bow down to the whims, likes and dislikes of other people. I'm here to talk. I'm here to discuss things that I like and believe in. And okay, yeah, I've kind of slacked off in a couple areas, because right now my focus isn't really on trying to study the Bible and give you my opinions of the Bible. Or right now I'm focused on other things because of events that have happened. Now, yeah, I seem to be talking a lot about Norsemen and their beliefs and their lifestyles and whatnot. That's because the fact that I don't need to do a lot of research on that. I've already done the research. I've been doing the research for a long time. But to sit down and pull a Bible verse out and discuss that takes a little bit more time. And maybe if I didn't put so much time on a video, because I'm already at 50 minutes, that I would have the time to do that. But I've got more important things to do, and I'm not talking about going out and playing my game. I'm talking about dealing with my life, my family, all this stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I have to get off right now because I have some important stuff to deal with. So I've already told you the spiel about what's down in here somewhere. So I'm just going to say, you guys have a good night. Be safe. Take care of each other. God bless. Good night. Bye.